factions from different parties together in one place, discussing the current problems of the country. We live in a time of dramatic conflicts, politicians against politicians from other parties, citizens against politicians, employers against hired labourers. There is one place, however, where they all gather and seriously discuss the problems of Bulgaria despite their conflicting interests and political differences. The Economic and Social Council of Bulgaria started working exactly 10 years ago. The current and former presidents of the Republic of Bulgaria, Rosen Plevneliev and Georgi Parvanov, the presidents of several national assemblies which functioned during the period, Ognian Gerchikov, Georgi Pirinsky and Tsetska Tsacheva, many ministers, members of the National Assembly, university rectors, representatives of professional communities, always in search of solutions to the most important problems of the country, through the Economic and Social Council, trade unions, employers, champions of the opinions of civil society, all gathered in one room to honour this anniversary. When you start building something new, you always have a dream. 10 years ago, I dreamed of creating a genuine Economic and Social Council which would bring together political and social forces in the name of Bulgaria, said Professor Lalko Dulevski, the man who from the very beginning of this council manages to find balance and understanding in the difficult discussions of the council. Today this dream has become reality. The council has become an important factor in the search for solutions to the most important problems facing the country.
With the adopted over 2,000 pages of ESC Acts, the Economic and Social Council proposes solutions to virtually all major strategic problems. A part of our proposals are considered and included in fundamental documents of the competent state institutions. As every year, the influence of the Council increased, ESC Acts became the basis of a number of governmental decisions. Here I would like to note that for those 10 years of Economic and Social Council was equally distanced from all political parties, but proved an equally honest and constructive partner to already 5 governments, 3 national assemblies and 2 presidents of the Republic of Bulgaria, who, to my delight, are here in this room.
We urge Europe to evaluate Bulgaria more objectively and with more dignity, appealed Professor Dulevski. Since its accession into the EU, Bulgaria has not created financial problems for Europe, thanks to sound financial management and the well-functioning currency board. However, today we have larger and faster-growing problems than most member states, such as the demographic trends and the high level of emigration, mainly of young and educated people. Given 15 more years, these problems will become a true challenge for the country's development if no adequate, long-term and strong policies are undertaken in the meantime. Therefore, we expect understanding, assistance and justice from Europe.
We insist on a fair understanding and additional support, including financial aid, to find timely solutions to our problems, especially those of demographic nature, in the interest of Bulgaria and Europe, and not meet with louder political voices in the EU against the free labor movement of Bulgarian citizens in some member states. If, for 10 years in the Economic and Social Council, prominent and well-known public figures and their organizations, with different and even opposing institutional and political interests, managed to make the necessary compromises to reach consensus in the name of the strategic national interests of Bulgaria, why is it then that Bulgarian politicians and officials fail to follow this example? Therefore, let us all join together to achieve the much-needed national consensus on the key priorities and interests of the country, because, in fact, there is no other possibility to ensure a decent future for Bulgaria and our children.
In 2007, Bulgaria made its civilizational choice. It joined the European family and supported its values: peace, freedom, democracy, rule of law, protection of human rights, tolerance, solidarity. said the President of the Republic of Bulgaria, Rosen Plevneliev.
During the past 10 years, the significant role of the Economic and Social Council has been universally recognized as a platform for civil society dialogue in the country, an indispensable partner of the government and, if necessary, an important corrective for the formulation of policies for socio-economic development. Economic and Social Council of the Republic of Bulgaria is constructed like the European Union on the basis of solidarity, dialogue and consensus. It is there to remind us of where we started, what we went through and what we have achieved over the past 10 years. Bulgarian politicians and the civil society can congratulate themselves with their greatest achievement, namely Bulgaria's membership in the European Union. This is a dream come true for generations of Bulgarian patriots who believed, worked and sacrificed their lives for Bulgaria in the hope that Bulgaria will become a dignified member of the family of European nations. So my appeal is to continue together to build our common European home, to be proud of our achievements, and to take an example and to give tribute to Professor Dulevski and the Economic and Social Council of the Republic of Bulgaria, because, Professor Dulevski, you have indeed managed to realize your dream for the creation and the recognition of the Economic and Social Council as an indispensable partner, but what is more, by realizing your own dream, following your own dream, you have supported the dream of Bulgarian citizens for strong and effective institutions that are open to the people, open to business, open to the civil society, the employers and workers, institutions that address and resolve their problems.
Surprisingly, one of the key foreign guests to the anniversary, the President of the European Economic and Social Committee, Henri Malos, spoke in Bulgarian and shared interesting memories of our country.
Первия път, когато посетих България, бях член на смесения консултативен съвет. Това беше през зимата на 1997 година. Хората била депресирана. Беше трудно време. По улицата нямаше много светилин. Но тогава аз се срещах с хората, така аз се запознах с душата на България. И това ме накара да се влюбя в България.
Indeed, Bulgaria has come a long way in the past 20 years, even in the past 10 years. I remembered those years of hard times. Today, we are free. We live in a democratic community. Bulgaria is not alone. It is part of the family of the European Union. You belong to this European family, and we owe you solidarity just as you owe an accountable attitude to us. This family is going through some hard times, and Bulgaria is no exception in this regard.
The National Assembly sees the Economic and Social Council as a partner in carrying through important tasks related to the legislative process, stated the Vice President of the National Assembly, Aliosman Imamov.
I believe that all definitions used to describe the Council are completely reasonable and adequate. It has been defined as a civil parliament, as a bridge between the civil society and the government, as a champion of the will and the interests of various social structures in the name of better development of the economic and social processes in the country for the benefit of the people.
Three-legged stools are the most suitable and stable, and Bulgaria is an example of this, because the three pillars that ensure the continuous support of the Economic and Social Council are the President, the National Assembly and the government, commented ESC President Professor Dulewski.
I liked the metaphor with the three-legged stool, but I hope that it is indeed a more comfortable seat, like an armchair at least.
Bobever indicated that the government deeply appreciates the role of the Economic and Social Council as a place for achieving consensus.
The Council has established itself as an institution with very high professional expertise and very thorough analysis of our socio-economic reality. And finally, allow me, since after the first 10 years it's fair to expect a transition to a more turbulent age, to wish the Economic and Social Council to be part of the turbulent eco-economic progress of Bulgaria.
Bulgarian employers are very serious about their participation in the Economic and Social Council, said Vasil Velev, ESC Vice President of Group 1 and Chairman of the Bulgarian Industrial Capital Association. This also seems to be the attitude of the other groups represented in the Council, he commented.
It is our opinion that the Economic and Social Council is a good meeting place for debate on important issues of our socio-economic development. This is a very appropriate environment, and the Economic and Social Council may perform the functions of the civil parliament.
In managing modern systems, information and feedback are of crucial importance, said Dr. Konstantin Trenchev, ESC Vice President of Group 2 and President of the Podkrepa Labour Confederation. Our council has been created according to the European model, he says.
I would like to say something as a doctor of medicine, because hardly anyone doubts that our country is sick. In medicine, we have a principle. There are other physicians in the room, they will confirm. A good diagnose is the main prerequisite for a good treatment, and in order to diagnose well, it is necessary to have information. Exactly this is the role of the Council, because I assure you that it brings together so many different people that in order to achieve consensus, you need to measure by milligrams and millimeters.
We have had very difficult moments. Sometimes we've faced conflicts. There has even been a risk of disbanding because of the withdrawal of one of the groups. But we have managed to keep the spirit of consensus, and we have never made our internal disputes public, concluded Professor Dulewski. 3 honorary awards for contribution to the development of organized civil society in Bulgaria were handed out at the end of the anniversary session. The first was given to Luca Jaillet, the man who presides over the third group in the European Economic and Social Committee.
Currently, we are not only experiencing possibly the largest, deepest and most complex economic crisis in our history, but perhaps also a crisis of democracy. Next year, Europe will commemorate 100 years since the beginning of World War I, the war which was expected to end all wars in Europe. As we all know, the events of 1914-1918 only led to a horrific chapter in our European history. However, World War II led to the European project, which aimed to end all feuds between its members, and this time it was successful. Despite all the poverty and misery of the current crisis, we should always be grateful for the peace that we have and pass on to the future generations the value of this peace.
The other recipients of the award were Vasil Velev, Vice President of the Economic and Social Council and Chairman of the Bulgarian Industrial Capital Association, Plamen Dimitrov, President of the Confederation of Independent Trade Unions in Bulgaria and Chairman of the Standing Commission on Labour, Incomes, Living Standards and Industrial Relations of the Economic and Social Council. His award was handed to the Trade Union Vice President, Mr. Ivan Kokolov. And finally, the opinions of politicians that have participated in the government of the country at different stages during the last 10 years. Let us hear their assessment of the development of the Economic and Social Council from its creation until today.
As an already accumulated extremely valuable experience for serious analysis of complex economic and social issues, with the participation not only of trade unions and employers, but also of a very wide range of NGOs. And I think that now is the right time to use this potential, at this moment of acute need for our society to be provided with serious analysis of issues that every citizen identifies as urgent.
Този потенциал още по-пълно да бъде използван.
My assessment is decidedly positive. I believe that I was the first to approach the Economic and Social Council with a request for an opinion on what was then, and still is, a very topical issue, the problem of health insurance, unpaid health insurance contributions, and other related problems. Subsequently, we started working together to participate in joint discussions connected with the strategy for Bulgaria and the economic and social field. Therefore, I am extremely pleased that this is a forum for generating ideas, for testing conflicting positions, which ultimately produced good results, something that unfortunately cannot be said of other institutions in other areas of our public life.
I think that this anniversary is a good occasion to go back in time, when the Economic and Social Council was created entirely based on the European model, not like in other member states which transformed their tripartite councils and burdened them with the functions that today are performed by the Economic and Social Council. It is good news that during several mandates of the National Assembly, in which it was controlled by different political parties, the Council managed to establish itself as a place where representatives of the business sector, employers, social partners and, of course, non-governmental organizations can freely communicate with each other. In this regard, I am convinced that the Economic and Social Council has a bright future, and therefore, with great pleasure, I have come here today to attend its 10th anniversary.